everybody. Welcome to our 2020 Youth of the Year final event. Thanks for joining us today as you will hear from our 4 finalists for the Youth of the Year leadership designation for our Greater Boys and Girls Clubs of the Los Angeles Harbor. I'd like to first thank our committee chair, Rosa Pacente, for her great efforts, as well as our Director of Operations, Brian Gibo, and of course, Christina Choi for her great coordination of this event and the previous events when the young people were qualifying for today's finals. You'll see and you'll notice that the video will be looking a little bit different, as we had to do earlier this week the speeches via Zoom so that the judges and the contestants could have social distancing and make it safe for everybody. I still hope you'll enjoy the show. It's some really great young people that you'll view today. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you will continue to listen to all of our social media and see all the great things that are going on at the Boys and Girls Club. Have a great day, and here's the show.
Good evening. My name is Rosa Pacente, and I'm on the Board of Directors of the Boys and Girls Club of LA Harbor. On behalf of the entire board, thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate your participation in what is our first and hopefully our last ever virtual Youth of the Year. We would have preferred to be with you in person, but for obvious reasons that cannot be the case, but we knew it was important to proceed with this particular event. In a moment I will speak to what Youth of the Year is all about, but it's very important that I first thank and introduce the judges that had the very difficult task of determining who our Youth of the Year for 2020-2021 would be. First, we have Program Officer Linna Hanson of the Keck Foundation, Gaby Arvizu, who is Director of Social and Community Impact for Nike, Diane Middleton, Port of Los Angeles Commissioner, Rich Heffernan, retired AT&T recruiter and teacher at Palos Verdes High School, and Claudia Lapkin, Accounting Manager at Drunk Elephant. Thank you for the very difficult task that you have carried out today in selecting our Youth of the Year. So why are we here and what is Youth of the Year all about? Youth of the Year has been the premier recognition program for the Boys and Girls Club of America for nearly 75 years. It is the most coveted award that can be bestowed on a club member. Individuals selected exemplify the Boys and Girls Club mission and are proof of the impact that the club has on transforming and changing children's lives. Youth of the Year participants embody the values of leadership, service, academic excellence, and healthy lifestyles. These amazing teens represent the voice and spirit of youth in America and serve as ambassadors for the 4 million members across the country and the 4,300 sites. The Youth of the Year program is presented by Toyota, who has supported the Boys and Girls Club of America for many, many years, and we're grateful to them and everything that they do for our kids. Tonight's Youth of the Year winner will progress to the Los Angeles Alliance competition in LA sometime late in the third quarter of next year. From then, those members will select at that event the 2 finalists that will go to the region Youth of the Year event in Sacramento, California, and hopefully by then it will be in person and not virtual. The journey culminates with the National Youth of the Year celebration, which features members and winners from the 5 different regions, including the Military of the Year winner for Youth of the Year. The finalists tonight will receive first place $1,000, and the 3 semifinalists will each receive $500 that will go towards their education. As the finalists move through the process, they will receive additional scholarships. In prior years, some children have even received a full ride to the college of their choice. So this is a really big deal that we're very grateful that the kids can participate. So thank you. Before I move on in the program, I do want to say that it's important to me that I always say this. I would be remiss not to say that we encourage you and invite you to visit our club, to participate, to learn more about what we're doing under the roof of the Boys and Girls Club of LA Harbor, and to celebrate the kids that we have and to see how the club is in fact, transforming lives. We always welcome financial contributions. We need it to do things that are important to the kids, but we welcome your personal involvement as well. So thank you. Before we move forward, I have the great privilege of introducing our keynote speaker this evening. Vera Jimenez is an award-winning meteorologist at KTLA News in Los Angeles. She is on the news Monday through Friday at 6, 10, and 11 p.m. Among several awards and recognition, she has won 3 Emmys and 3 Golden Mics. She has worked in television for almost 20 years, all here in Southern California. In addition to KTLA, she has also worked at ABC and CBS. Vera is in the Santa Ana College Alumni Hall of Fame. She graduated from CSULB cum laude. in religious studies, then returned to college to become a certified meteorologist. Vera's family moved to Southern California from Mexico when she was 3 and settled in Garden Grove. Since then, she's attended community college and then on to state schools in California and Mississippi to get her degree in meteorology. Vera is also a member of the Redondo Beach Rotary Club. Please welcome Vera Jimenez.
Hi everybody, so good to be here with you tonight. Welcome to my home away from home. I am at the KTLA Weather Center, and this is where I spend a lot of my day because this is where I work. So I'm really super excited to be here with you to share this moment with you. I want this day to be very special for you. I want you to really stop and take inventory of this day. Remember what you're wearing. Remember who the last person was who spoke words to you before you jumped on the Zoom call. I want you to think about all the things that you did to get here. I want you to remember what those butterflies in your stomach felt like. And most importantly, I want you to remember that sense of hope, especially right now when so many people feel hopeless, when so many people are isolated. Yes, we're all isolated, and yes, we should be doing this in person in an auditorium, and we should all be together, but we can't. So we're making the best of the situation, and that's what you do in life. You make the best of the situation. And I want you also to remember that today signifies a moment that reminds you that your life has purpose. You don't know what that is yet, and maybe you do. And if you do, you're lucky. But I can tell you that at your age, I didn't know what my life's purpose was. Even years later, when I started down my career path, I didn't know what my life purpose was. All I knew was that I wanted to be a traffic reporter on the radio. That's what I thought my life purpose was. And now that I've been working in media for almost 20 years, I realize that that wasn't my life's purpose, that was just the road that was going to take me to my life's purpose. You see, getting the job on the radio was actually harder than getting the job on the TV. Isn't that crazy? Because everyone thinks of, oh my God, you work in television, that must have been so hard. No, that was actually easier. Getting on the radio was actually much harder. So when I was starting my journey as a traffic reporter, I would have to put these audition tapes together to shop out to different radio stations to see who would take me. And I was so bad that nobody would take me for months. Most of the people that auditioned the way I did would get on the radio within a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two at most. But for me, it was like 9 months. I was so bad. I would go into this little hot, stuffy broom closet that didn't have any ventilation, and day after day after day after day, I would put these tapes together, and I would take them to Michael, the manager, and I would say, Michael, I think this is it. And he would say, well, you know, it sounds like you put a pause here. I can hear you thinking, can we do this again? I did this for months and months and months on end. And I have to tell you, sometimes I would go into that broom closet and I would literally sob. I would sob and I would cry and I would say, God, please help me figure this out. Why is it taking me so long when it doesn't take everybody this long to do it? Why can I not figure out a simple thing like a traffic report? And I would cry and I would wipe away my tears and I would put together another tape and I would get rejected again. And then finally, when I got accepted, Michael said to me, oh my gosh, I never thought this day would come. And I said, why? And he said, because you were so bad. And I said, well, why didn't you ever tell me that I was that bad? And he said, because if you weren't going to quit, I wasn't going to quit. And you see, I might not have been good enough to get on the radio immediately like the rest of my colleagues, but I was good enough to keep trying. I was good enough to keep persevering to the day when I would be good enough to get on the radio. See, none of us is perfect. And I was not perfect, and I'm not perfect now. But the challenge was getting good enough to get on the radio. And that's what life is about. It's not about being perfect, but it's about becoming the best version of you that you can become. And so the other thing that I didn't know is that all of those months in the broom closet, putting together those tapes, were actually part of my journey to get me to this point. Because without suffering all of that, I wouldn't have this experience to share with you. I didn't have this journey to tell you, to give you as an example, so that when you are going through challenges, and when you feel like you're not good enough, and when you feel like you just aren't getting it, you remember me and you remember my story. And you remember that you have to keep trying and you have to keep getting up. And no matter how tall the mountain is, and no matter how long that fall is and how painful it is, you have to keep getting up. That's the whole point of life. The beauty is that in every defeat, there is a lesson that will take you to the victory. And when things don't turn out the way you want them to, it's because life is teaching you these valuable lessons that you are supposed to then absorb and then share with someone, so that someone then learns like you do and you pass it forward. See, you are made exactly the way you are supposed to be made. God made you a unique and wonderful and beautiful person. And you have special gifts that you're supposed to develop and you're supposed to discover and you're supposed to share with the world. So don't be stingy. Learn these lessons, discover those gifts, and share them with the world. Because you have a huge responsibility. You honor your family, and you honor your people, and you honor your community by being the best version of you that you can be. So every day, I want you to remember that while you may not be perfect, that you are enough. That you are exactly who you are meant to be. That you have a special light that you are supposed to shine on the world. Let me take a little water. I want you to remember too that you're not entitled to anything. That the only thing each of us is entitled to is an opportunity. And when I came here from Mexico, I came here illegally. And my mom taught me that I wasn't entitled to anything. That I had to work for everything, and that I had to make sure that I didn't take advantage of anything. That I was supposed to learn these lessons of hard work, of determination, of perseverance, so that I could become the best version of me that I could become. So that I could make her proud, and so that I could make my family proud, and so that I could make my people proud. See, when I was your age, I was a DACA kid. I was a dreamer of my generation. So today I want you to remember that it's up to you to take control of your life. No one is going to make it happen. There are going to be people that are going to be working really hard to show you paths, to open doors, to share what life has to offer, but it's up to you to realize that. It's up to you to take all of that in and become the best version of you that you can be. And then it's up to you to pass it along. The people at the Boys and Girls Club work really hard to open up all these doors for you. So I want you to remember to not squander away the resources that they're giving you. And most importantly, not to squander away the love, because what they do every day through this Youth of the Year award program and the scholarships that they share with you, they do it through love. They do it because of love. They do it because they realize how special you are and how wonderful you are. And they want to give you opportunities that you may not have. So even if you don't win the big award today, I want you to remember that there's an army of people out there that believe in you and that see that potential in you and that know that you are enough. And as I close out, I want you to remember that you are uniquely and wonderfully created. You are like a wave. You are like a snowflake. You are like a cloud. You are one of a kind. And you have special gifts that you have to. It is your obligation to share those gifts and to shine your light with the world. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best, and go out and shine your light.
Hi, my name is Brian Gibo. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Boys and Girls Club of Los Angeles Harbor. Welcome to our Youth of the Year finale celebration. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on what it took to get the kids here today. Our four candidates. Just want to introduce our four candidates really quick. From our San Pedro site, we have Kelly Yoshimura. From our Wilmington club site, we have Nickolas Velazquez. From our Port of Los Angeles club site, we have Marcella Guerrero. And from our Harbor City club site, we have Celeste Magdaleno. Each of these four individuals have done a lot to get to this point. They've gone through quite an extensive amount of application and background, questions, judging events already in a short period of time and during this crazy time of COVID. And usually they have a few months to get this set up, but during COVID, everything's been a little more condensed, and they've had to really squeeze in a lot of this in a short period of time. Some of the things that they've worked on is putting together their application just to become a candidate for the Youth of the Year. The application is pretty extensive. It has a lot of details in it, from their personal life, getting letters of recommendation from somebody in the community and somebody from a club site, writing 3 essays, one about their club experience, what matters most to them, and how they overcome obstacles, which is a critical point during this time of COVID that they're all going through. And they've also had to take the information from those essays and write a 3-minute speech and deliver that in front of a panel of judges, along with a 15-minute interview session. This preliminary judging event to determine each one of these as our Youth of the Year for the club site took place in the middle of November. And each of them at that point represent their club sites that I mentioned before for the upcoming year. So they're already the Youth of the Year for each of the clubs moving forward. So congratulations to them on that success already. Tonight, this is going to be the finale, and they're going to go through the same judging that they've gone through to get to that point for this event tonight. So this took place on Tuesday, and in front of a panel of judges, our 4 candidates got to showcase their application, their speech, and then go through a series of interview questions, like I mentioned before, about their personal life and the materials that were inside their application. And from that point, the judges got to determine which one of these candidates will move on and become our organization's Youth of the Year for 2021. And as being Youth of the Year, they represent our club site, tours and different events that they're doing. The winner will also move on to the Los Angeles County level and compete against other clubs in Los Angeles County area. And from there, if they get to win and move on, they go to the California State level, the Pacific Region level, and then the national level. And at each level, they have great opportunities to practice public speaking, practice networking. There's also opportunities for them to get scholarships as well. So tonight, you're going to hear their speeches. You're going to get to hear about their stories and what they've gone through to get here, and how the club has helped them, and how they represent our organization and the community. So without further ado, I'd like to hear from the candidates, and we will announce the winner for the organization of Youth of the Year at the end of this event. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Espinoza. I am the Port Site Coordinator. It is my honor to introduce Marcella Guerrero, our 2020 Port Site Youth of the Year. Marcella is a senior at Pula High School, actively involved in College Bound, and enjoys photography. Please welcome Marcella Guerrero.
I was born and raised in Rancho San Pedro, where you are expected to film life due to gangs, drugs, teen pregnancy, and violence. A lot of people expected me to follow my parents' footsteps and become a high school dropout. My mother was a teen mom and a high school dropout at the age of 17. My father was also a high school dropout, an ex-felon that should have never made it past 18, and an ex-gang member that never thought or dreamt of the future, let alone being a hardworking father. Due to where I grew up, people expected less from me. My parents have been my biggest influencers and even bigger fans. They've instilled hard work, respect, and manners. They taught me that no matter what I dream of or how hard things get, nothing can stop me from reaching my goals. Having to grow up in a generation where phones and social media were the main focus has had a huge influence on me. When I got into high school, I started struggling with the thought of comparing myself to the social media influencers. I remember always thinking to myself why I didn't look like these social media influencers, and that I had to change who I was on the outside to meet society's standards. Going to high school made me have expectations about how I should look. As I started getting older, my expectations started to change, and going to the club and being around positive staff and my friends has helped me realize that I am loved for who I am and don't have to be someone I'm not. I learned that I don't have to reach people's expectations. I just have to love myself for who I am. I can truly say that the programs of the Boys and Girls Club, such as Keystone, College Bound, Career Bound, and Chicas Unidas, has helped me reach my goals of being able to apply to college, not follow in my parents' footsteps, and be loved for who I am. Going to the club and being in those programs has helped me break stereotypical profiling. I was never expected to make it this far, but I am grateful to say I did. Over time, I worked hard and got help from the staff at the club to do better and be a better person. And now I can officially say that I have been applying to colleges and scholarships in hopes of being a future Toro. The club has been a great support system and has felt like my home away from home that I know I can depend on. With all that said, I am thankful for my life, but even more grateful for the supportive parents I have and for being able to be a part of the Boys and Girls Club family. My name is Marcella Guerrero, and I am Port Youth of the Year. Thank you for hearing my story.
Hi, my name is Viri Sanchez. I'm the site coordinator for the Boys and Girls Club of LA Harbor for the Harbor City site. It is my honor to introduce our Harbor City Youth of the Year, Celeste Magdaleno. She is a junior at camps. She's our Keystone president for the Harbor City Warriors, and she absolutely loves crochet. Please welcome Celeste Magdaleno.
Have you ever suppressed your feelings so much you started to feel numb? It's an empty feeling inside, and it's hard to distinguish whether or not you have the ability to feel things. You may see me and think she's fine. She's perfectly fine. But there are times I do not feel that way. I have long struggled with accepting my self-image, and this year, since COVID-19 hit, has been a huge test for me. I was stuck at home with my own thoughts running through my head without any outlet. Negativity kept creeping at my door every time I glanced in my mirror, and these negative thoughts and feelings made me overeat and stress about my image even more. It got to the point where I stopped wearing the clothes I love because they just didn't fit. Instead, I wore big baggy clothes to help hide my body in. At this point in my life, I truly stopped caring. I lost complete motivation. I stopped feeling. I was numb. Around the same time I was going through this, I also found out that the club was going to open back up again. At first, I was hesitant to go back because I didn't want other people to see me the way I was, because I was ashamed of myself. But there was a small part of me that was hopeful that maybe it would help me pop out of the bubble that contained all my pessimistic thoughts. Slowly but surely, my mental health did start to improve thanks to the club. The club has always had a positive impact on my life ever since I started at the age of 6. I was encouraged to join by a teacher that suggested I needed help with my studies, being a first-generation student and knowing very little English. I remember the first day I came to the club like it was yesterday. I was so scared and nervous to start the day, but as soon as I walked through the big blue gates, I was welcomed by all the friendly staff and the smiles from the kids that were there that day. It truly made it feel like a second home. Now fast forward to 11 years later, I'm still here. I have been part of various programs over the years, and the one that stand out the most to me are art, college bound, and Keystone. I joined a crochet class in the 5th grade and I absolutely fell in love with it. Crocheting later on actually became my coping mechanism and helped turn my stress into beautiful art projects. In high school, I became president of Keystone and I was able to organize and facilitate many community outreach projects. College Bound taught me about my future career and the tools I need to have a successful career path. All these different programs I have participated thanks to the club have turned me into the person that I am today. In the future, I want to be part of the medical field and hope to attend medical school at Oxford University in England. However, I want to come back to the Boys and Girls Club to mentor and educate children who are affected by mental health issues like I am. I want to establish a program for students who are in need and understanding of how to overcome and enhance their self-worth. The Boys and Girls Club has always been there for me and continues to strive for the best in me. They've made me understand that I am beautiful and part of a family that accepts me for who I am. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine Gudino. I am the Wilmington High School Site Coordinator and Keystone Advisor. It is with great honor to introduce Nickolas Velazquez, our Wilmington Youth of the Year. Nick is a student athlete who loves to help out the community and loves to lend a hand. Please welcome Nick Velazquez.
Drug and alcohol abuse, heavy gang violence, shootings, and abductions. These are just some of the various things that my home, Wilmington, California, is riddled with. An absent alcoholic father and loving uncle who struggles with alcoholism to this day are just some of my personal adversities that would surely doom me and deteriorate my motives until my seemingly inevitable failure. You don't have to take my word for it. Statistics say a Hispanic boy birthed to a single, undocumented immigrant mother in an environment as disastrous as mine would surely crumble and succumb to the life of a gang member that had already engulfed the lives and dreams of many of his childhood friends. How couldn't he? No financial means of making it out of this pit and surely no guidance to get him there even if he wanted to. That is until he discovered the Boys and Girls Club. My name is Nickolas Velazquez and the Boys and Girls Club reinvented my life. From the second I walked into the club, a feeling of security fell over me. Whether it was the instant smiles that emerged from the staff or the warm environment that simply flooded the building, I knew I discovered something great. I instantly fell in love with the various parts of the club, my first being the Lego Club with Josh. It was fun and it was easy. But as I transitioned to different stages of my life, I started to really further appreciate the many educational and growth-based opportunities offered at the club. From College Bound, which helped me envision a path beyond high school that I've been building since elementary school, to Junior Youth of the Year in middle school, which helped me shape my passion for serving my community and being a leader, to present day, where I'm the Keystone Treasurer and I'm taking dual enrollment college courses. The club has always been a second home and even a first when times get really tough. Watching your uncle pass to cancer and grandpa become disabled is no easy task, but there is always a loving staff to talk to at the club. When life turns me upside down, the club helps hold me down. Today, I'm a community-oriented and passionate individual who takes pride in my club membership. I'm a 4.0 GPA student athlete who's involved in numerous extracurriculars to ensure that my dreams of attending a 4-year plus university and becoming a neurosurgeon come true. I'm a leader who respects cultural and personal differences, and I want to educate and inspire the next generation of youth to make sure they do too. Not bad for a kid who wasn't supposed to be here. And what better way to say thank you than to represent that very place and preach to the world how they changed my life and the lives of 4 million kids and teens worldwide. To me, Youth of the Year means so much more than a title or name. It means embodying the name Club Kid. I don't just approach this year-long responsibility, but welcome it. I will live up to the name and be more than my circumstances. I am walking proof of what the club can produce, and I want to let it be known that great futures truly do start here. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, my name is Alexander Ryan, the team coordinator here at the Boys and Girls Club of San Pedro, and I'm pleased to introduce our San Pedro Youth of the Year, Kelly Yoshimura. She's a junior at San Pedro High School and our Keystone President for the year 2020-2021. Kelly is really passionate about social and emotional wellness, and hopefully in just a couple years we'll be going to UC Berkeley. So here she is, Kelly Yoshimura.
Good evening, I'm Kelly Yoshimura and I'm a junior at San Pedro High School. I'm also half Japanese, half Mexican, and I'm a first-generation American. These aspects of my identity have comprised a lot of the struggles that I've encountered throughout my life. And although I enjoy common pastimes such as singing, reading, writing, playing piano, and hanging out with friends, there had always been a lack of representation and connection in the media I consumed and the people I was surrounded by. Since my racial ambiguity was something that I had always been aware of, there had never been a memorable moment where I hadn't felt like an outsider. From kindergarten to high school, every day entailed a feeling of imposter syndrome, where I would be exposed as a fraud or pretending to be someone I wasn't. I feared not being considered Japanese enough or not being Mexican enough. And in an overwhelmingly white and third, fourth, fifth generation Latino demographic, as far as AP and honors classes go, I especially feared not being considered American enough. I knew growing up that the cultural values that had been instilled in me by my family and my background were vastly different from that of my peers, and the expectations that I had set for myself were things that had never crossed their minds. Between my internal conflict as a biracial person and as a first-generation American, and the external pressures from my family and my parents to succeed in a culturally appropriate way, it felt as though I was in superposition between multiple identities, none of which I could validly claim. It wasn't until recently that I joined the Asian Hispanic Empowerment Organization, a nonprofit, that helped me face my struggles with imposter syndrome and assure that other students didn't feel the same way. Teaching elementary age students about cultural awareness and history on different locations at the Boys and Girls Club was something that I was becoming very passionate about. I was able to further express my struggles with my identity and experiences through poetry that is published on their website and will soon become in a hardcover journal that will be distributed nationwide to over 50 schools. As I pursue my further education into university, I hope to be able to bring change and unification to future generations, whether it's by becoming a teacher or working in politics or nonprofits. Learning to be comfortable with my identity as a whole rather than its parts has been a long and difficult journey, and I'm very grateful for the Boys and Girls Club for providing me with the opportunity to establish deep relationships with my peers and mentors, and for offering me guidance in times when I needed it the most. While finding a community that I can relate and connect to is still very important to me, I've come to learn the value of establishing relationships with people who don't necessarily come from the same background as me, and instead build friendships and mentorships based on common interests and common goals. Whether it was through music, books, or leadership like Keystone, establishing friendships and mentorships has changed my perspective on the world and shifted my perspective on myself and others. Thank you.
It is now my great pleasure to announce the 2020 Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Los Angeles Harbor, Marcella Guerrero. Congratulations, Marcella. Well done. I'd also like to do a shout out to Kelly, Nick, and Celeste for your great efforts and your great speeches. All four of you are great representatives of our Boys and Girls Club organization, and you all deserve to be congratulated. Great job to all of you.
I just want to say thank you so much to all of the judges for letting, for using your time to be here. And thank you to the staff at the Boys and Girls Club and everybody on here. Just a big thank you to the club in general, because without the club, I don't know where I would be right now. Like, they truly helped me out a lot. So thank you guys.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sergio Carrillo, President of the Board of Directors of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Los Angeles Harbor. And on behalf of our entire Board of Directors, I want to thank you for participating in this year's Youth of the Year program. Congratulations to Marcella Guerrero on becoming this year's Youth of the Year. And congratulations as well to our other finalists, Celeste, Magdaleno, Nick Velazquez, and Kelly Yoshimura. You were all amazing, had some incredible stories to share, and are a great example of the talented youth we serve in our organization. You are all inspirations to your colleagues, and I know that we're going to hear your stories for many years to come. You know, the Youth of the Year program honors and celebrates our most inspiring teens and their incredible journeys. Stories of outstanding leadership, service, academic excellence, and dedication to living a healthy lifestyle have made the Youth of the Year our premier leadership program. These amazing young people represent the voice and spirit and hope for our communities and our country, inspiring all kids to succeed, to lead, and to inspire. Each year, one exceptional club member is selected to be our Youth of the Year, serving as an ambassador for the Boys and Girls Club youth, as well as the voice of all our community's young people. These individuals have exemplified the Boys and Girls Club mission and are proof to the impact clubs make in transforming and saving kids' lives. Youth of the Year winners have achieved success in a variety of industries, including entertainment, politics, business, and sports. But we could not accomplish this alone if it weren't for the support of our community and our generous donors. You have made a lasting difference in the life of a child you may never meet and whose name you may never know. You may never hear thank you from the child you helped, but that unspoken gratitude exists because your generous support has meant a new opportunity and a chance for a great future and a new opportunity. We appreciate your generosity and hope you will consider continuing to support our youth. I also want to thank our keynote speaker, KTLA meteorologist and a fellow Rotary sister, Vera Jimenez, for your amazing words. Thank you, Vera, for reminding us all that our lives have purpose and that we need to be good enough to keep on trying and persevering to become the best version of ourselves. Thank you again, Vera, for those amazing words. And I want to thank the judges who had the very difficult and Herculean task of selecting our Youth of the Year. I do not envy them at all. Thank you to Commissioner Diane Middleton of the Port of Los Angeles, Linna Hanson with the Keck Foundation, Gaby Arvizu with Nike, Rich Heffernan with Pola High School, and Claudia Lapkin with Drunk Elephant. And a special thank you to my fellow board member and colleague, Rosa Pacenti, and to our Director of Operations, Brian Gibo, who together oversaw the competition at 4 clubhouses and here tonight. Your support of this program is a true labor of love, and I want to thank you both. You know, for 83 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Los Angeles Harbor has remained true to its mission, to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. Your support continues to make that happen. Thank you for your participation in today's Youth of the Year program, and congratulations again to our 2020-2021 Youth of the Year, Marcella Guerrero from the Port of Los Angeles Boys and Girls Club. On behalf of our entire board of directors, happy holidays to you and yours, and as always, please be safe. Thank you.